Good morning, and thank you for joining me for another day of devotion in a glorious day that the Lord has made in a new year. And as I was sitting down just the other day, I was watching a movie on TV. It was a high action movie, and my wife comes in and she sits down beside me, and I guess she must have noticed that our grandson did not finish his homework. So she calls the grandson in and she tells him, she says, "You need to sit down and study your words." And as I was sitting there watching the movie, I couldn't help but to notice the continuing interruptions of her telling him to study your words, study your words. And as I looked over at him, thinking to myself, why is she telling him so repetitively to study his words? And as I watched him, I noticed him squirming and fidgeting, trying to see the TV and study at the same time. And so what I had to do is I had to turn off, yes, a good movie. I had to turn off the TV in order to remove the distraction out of his life so that he can continue to study his words. You know, as children of God, we're going to encounter all types of distractions. You know, have you ever noticed that uh, it is normally at your most critical point of doing something, like studying for a finals or preparing for that promotional interview where you need everything to go right, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, your laptop crashes. You know, the one that has your study work on it, or you gets up to go out to go to work that morning, and everything is set. You got the right clothes on and the whole nine yards, and getting ready for this to go and prepare for or get ready for this interview, and your car won't start, and you'll find yourself getting frustrated. You'll find yourself being confused. You'll find yourself wondering, what am I doing wrong? Why is all of these things happening? But I want to say this, fear not. It's just a distraction. You know, and make no mistake about it. The enemy, Satan self come to kill, steal, and destroy. Yes, demonic distractions. Listen, distractions is one of his, listen, specialties. It's one of Satan's specialties is to distract you. You know, I was told of a story one time where Satan had called all of his demons to a conference, and as he called all of his demons into this meeting, it says like this. The story goes like this. It says, Satan, he gathered all of his demons, and in his opening address, he says, we cannot keep the people from going to church. We cannot keep them from the truth of the Bible. We can't keep them from an intimate relationship from God. Once they realize their powers over us, our dominion is broken. So let them have their church. Let them have their fellowship. But let's steal their time. Then they will have no time for their precious Savior. Here's what we do. This is what Satan says. Let's distract them throughout the day. But how will we accomplish such a feat? One of the demons says. Satan says, well, we'll keep them busy with non-essentials of life. Tempt them to spend, borrow, covet, lust, and hate. persuade their wives to work long hours, convince their husbands to work 6, 7 days a week in order to in order to afford their empty lifestyle and neglect their children. As families are torn, homes will no longer offer an escape. Overstimulate their minds so that they cannot hear God. How will we do this? One of the demons asked. He says, lure them through the radios while they're driving, and the TVs, the computers, and the phones that they leave on all the time. This will fill their minds with everything but the love of God. This will break them. They will fill their coffee tables with terrible magazines and newspapers where the Bible used to sit. Ravage their minds with constant news of death, violence, and political corruption. Keep skinny women in the limelight. Soon husbands will be distracted from their marriage and become unsatisfied. Keep the wives too tired to love their husbands at night. Give their children Santa Claus for Christmas and and bunny rabbits for Easter. Keep them too busy to reflect, even to think about their Creator. Give them so much to think about that they will feel overwhelmed and powerless. Keep them busy. It will work. The demons went vigorously to their assignments, causing people to stumble. With all these distractions, my question is, have they succeeded? Distractions is a part of a Christian's life, and we have to be able to identify these distractions. You know, our devotional reading this morning comes out of Luke 10 and 38. Luke 10 and 38. And I want to read that, if I may. And Luke 10 and 38 puts it like this. Now, as they went on their way, Jesus entered a city, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. 40 says, but Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve all alone? Tell her then to help me. You know, as people of God, we can get so distracted and caught up in preparing for the things in this life that we forget to prepare for the life after. You know, don't get so distracted that we forget about God. You know, I know sometimes in our churches we can get so distracted with all these different programs, events, and titles, and all these things that goes on in the church. But sometimes we forget on how to just love one another. We forget that our primary goal is to make disciples. So let's not get distracted, my sisters and brothers. Let's stay focused on the commission in which we was given. My name is Kurt Garfield. I'm the pastor of the Scipio Baptist Church. And until we meet again, you keep walking like a champ.